Hey everybody, welcome to Magic Monday here on our Mystic Road Trip. I'm so excited. I don't know why. I just feel really good. The energies are kind of weird right now, obviously in astrology, and March is a big thing where I think I talked about it before. There's a lot of crap going on, but I feel pretty good. I don't know why. So if you're wondering who I am, I'm Kim. I am your host. I am a tarot reader. I'm an astrologer. I'm a spiritual and wellness coach. I'm a novelist. I'm a nerd. I'm a lover of pretty much anything woo-woo. So if any of that sounds cool to you, then you have found your people. Right here. I'm your people. And on this podcast, I'm basically going on a mystical road trip of my own, trying to learn as much information as possible, and really finding what sticks with me and cries to my soul authentically. Yeah, I decided I would share my experience with everybody in hopes that maybe I could help somebody else do the same thing. Because that's kind of what I'm here on Earth to do. I am a generator. If you're into human design, you'll know what that means. I'm a 2-4 generator. And so, yeah, I'm big. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Cancer. I'm a Capricorn with a Cancer moon and a Cancer rising. So I kind of feel that my lot in life is to be a teacher and a guide and share my knowledge, and that's kind of how I'm doing that's why I'm doing this, is to do that. So if you're into all that kind of stuff, once again, hey, we can be friends. On this podcast, I do 2 episodes a week. On Mondays, I usually talk about magical, mystical, spiritual wellness kind of things. That can be anything from crystals to herbs to... Today we are talking about the moons of April. Oh, dude, that's right. We're in April. Holy crap. Well, I'm still in March recording this, guys, so sorry. And spoiler alert, I don't record these on the day I release them. I just thought about that. Anyways, so Mondays can be anything like that. Usually the first episode of the month is usually a coverage of the full and new moons, as well as if there's any holidays. I am a Wiccan, so therefore I look at the Wiccan holidays, and so if there's any of those, I talk about those as well. And then the rest of the episodes of the month are typically about, like I said, magical, mystical stuff. I am trying to throw in every now and then a little I guess extra special woo-woo. So last month we talked about Atlantis. I may talk about cryptids at some point. I've talked about Ouija boards. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff like that too. Just because I find it fascinating. And I do think sometimes there are some spiritual lessons to be learned by looking at those things. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. That's cool. Just as a note, and this is not typically a political podcast, but sometimes I might make comments. I want to let you guys know who I am. I am someone who believes that there should be gender equality, and that's all genders. I believe people should be able to love who they love, worship who they worship, and believe in what they want. There should be a freedom of speech, but not so far. My freedom of speech stops at where it infringes on your rights. I believe that fascism and Nazis are wrong. And so if any of that doesn't sit well with you, even if you're into the stuff that I said at the beginning, I may not be the right person for you, and that's okay. But I just wanted to make that really evident at the beginning, in case I do go on a diatribe on this podcast. I don't tend to. On my history podcast, that's a whole different story. But just in case, I wanted to be out there and be open and honest with you guys. But if you're up for human rights and people being able to live authentically as who they see themselves, how they feel, who they were born to be, then you're on, you come on in. We'll get along just fine. on Magical Mondays, I do start the podcast with something I call Our Week in the Stars, and that is where I basically take a look at a couple astrological events that are happening in the week and give you some ideas of what that means and how you can work with the energy. And then we jump into the main topic. And like I said, today it is the full and new moon of April. So let's do some housekeeping and some shameless plugging before we get started. If you want to reach out to me, you can do that. I have social media. You can check in the description box. There's also an email there in case you want to rock it a little old school. If you would like to support the podcast, there's ways to do that financially in the description box through my Buy Me a Coffee and my Patreon. If you don't have the cash and because you've spent too much money on eggs, that's you, United States, then by all means, if you would just like, comment, review, share, subscribe, do all those things, the more you interact with this video or this podcast, the more the algorithm sees people are interested, and the more they're going to push me out to more people, and therefore the more of a community we can build where we can all share all our information and stories and all kinds of cool things like that. Also, there's a Medium publication attached to this podcast, so make sure you check it out. And I also do another podcast, as I said a minute ago. It's a history podcast. So if you're in history, feminism, and women, check it out. It's called Where All the Ladies At. It is focused primarily on women in history. And some you'll know, and most you won't, I think. Unless you're a history nerd like me. All right, so that is my shameless plugging and my housekeeping. So let's jump into it. So let's start with getting into our week in the stars. All right, so let's start with Tuesday, April 1st. Let's go. Happy April Fool's Day, but we're not fooling today. So the moon in Taurus is going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So that's a lot of Taurus action happening. Here's the thing. This kind of aspect really means that the moon's emotional sensitivity is going to be really combining well with Uranus's like innovative and unpredictable energy. But they're both in Taurus, so this means like there might be some sudden emotional insights, unexpected changes in personal values, maybe even material world, because Taurus is an earth sign, and earth signs are really about the material world. So that means your body itself, your house, your work, all those kind of things. I would say with this kind of energy, just be flexible, kind of try to remain open to any new ideas that come your way, especially when it comes to things like financial matters or personal comforts. Change can feel a little unsettling sometimes, guys, but sometimes you have to look at it as it gives you opportunities for growth and innovation. So that's kind of how I would use that energy there. On the same day, though, the moon leaves Taurus and it enters Gemini. So that is an interesting shift, because when it goes into Gemini, it's going to really try, give you more of a light and more curious nature when it comes to communication. You might feel like suddenly you want to learn new things. So mental stimulation is going to be there, and social interactions are going to be kind of amped up. I would say once the moon shifts, maybe have good conversations, maybe research something new, get some new information, really think about things you're curious about and dive into it. It's a great time for learning and connecting with others. And so I just think like using that energy would be a great way. So now we're going to fast forward to Friday, April 4th. And there's a couple movements on this day that I think could be kind of interesting to play with. So the first one I want to talk about is Saturn in Pisces sextiles Uranus in Taurus. So this is pretty harmonious blend, right? Saturn's a very disciplined planet. And Uranus, of course, as I said, has innovation in it. So when these two energies kind of commingle, I think you're going to find it's going to be you're going to have a lot of practical but unconventional approaches to finding stability in your life. Using this energy to find creative solutions to work and personal life is kind of a great idea. It's really a good time for trying to take that traditional ideas and maybe like tweaking it and innovating against it. So I think that that's an awesome thing. Now, along with that, you're going to have Mars in Cancer sextiling Uranus and Taurus. So here's the thing. Mars is pretty assertive, right? And that drive really does align with Uranus's desire for change, and therefore you might find like you feel more active towards personal growth and financial stability, right? I would say moving this energy into like projects that require both emotional investment and willingness to kind of adapt is a good thing. So just stay open. New methods that might enhance your security may come into things, and they may not be your traditional thought pattern, but they could be really great for you. The last thing that's going to happen is Mars in Cancer is trining Saturn in Pisces. Now, this is a supportive aspect as well. This is a very good energy day because Mars's initiative with Saturn's structure can really help you make action forward, but in a disciplined way, especially when you're looking towards nurturing and protective goals. So anything having to do with like home, family. Cancer is very homey, right? I would say focus on tasks that require sustained effort and emotional commitment. It's a good time to establish routines that support your long-term well-being. So, and also like I would say setting up boundaries might be good too. Cancers aren't really necessarily known for doing that, but because you have Mars in Cancer, and then you have Saturn, and Pisces is kind of dreamy, right? Kind of really like, so I think like it might be a good day to do that. Now, for those that are watching for the first time, my weeks go Monday through Sunday because I post on Mondays. So the last day we're going to talk about is Sunday, April 6th. There's a couple of movements there too. So Sun in Aries is going to sextile Jupiter in Gemini. This is going to bring you a lot of enthusiastic energy, make you want to grow and expand. Combining the sun's vitality, right? The sun is about I. That's why Aries, and it's in Aries, which is like it's a sun. Yeah, it's just tell me. Oh my God, my words. Whoo, the energies are flowing, guys. The new moon on March 29th is messing with me a little bit. All right, so vitality with the optimism, right? Jupiter's very optimistic, and so maybe bold ideas, joyful expressions are going to be pretty prominent. I would say just uplifting energy is always good, right? Get out there, pursue new opportunities, especially if they're talking about learning, traveling, creative endeavors, because remember, Gemini is very much that aspect, very much very intellectual. They love to learn new things. They're very inquisitive. So all of those aspects are going to be really great. Another thing that's happening on this day is Venus in Pisces is going to trine Mars in Cancer. Now, it's a harmonious alignment. Venus is very affectionate. Obviously, it's the planet of love and beauty, right? And Mars is drives. That's drive. And both of them are in water signs. Now, this is going to mean that the focus is going to be a lot on emotional connections and creativity. Water is just automatically associated with that. So engaging in any activities that really nurture emotional bonds or like spark that creative passion is going to be a great time. It's a really great time for artistic pursuits and also like trying to deepen your relationships. Later on that day, the moon is going to enter Leo. This is going to bring very dramatic, very expressive, very generous energy, right? Self-expression and recognition are going to be very, very spotlight on, right? Because of that energy, I would say try to showcase your talents, right? Let's take a little joy in creative endeavors. It's a good time to celebrate achievements, and maybe share some of your creativity with others. I think that would be great. Now, so that is it for our week in the stars. I would love to hear how the energies affected you. Let me know, right? A lot of these energies talk about embracing change, balancing your action with reflection, and also I would say fostering connections. So I think any of those things are all pretty important during this week. So let's get started. Let's jump into, let me get my notes out. The moons of April. All right, so the first moon that we're going to talk about is the full moon. It's going to be in Libra, and it's going to be on April 12th. So the full moon is always culmination and release, right? So, and when the energy of the lunar cycle reaches its peak, it's intentions it's going to bring intentions to fruition. It's also going to urge you to let things go. Just get rid of them. Libra is ruled by Venus, and so that is a sign of beauty and balance and relationships and harmony. In magical and spiritual practices, Libra is kind of about aligning your inner and outer worlds to create peace and fairness, right? They're about balance. And so it's also about relationships. Oh, my eye itches. And how you relate to others and how you seek harmony in your own life, right? The full moon, the symbolism of this full moon in Libra, the symbol of Libra is scales, and that's balance, so give and take, right? So Libra energy tends to ask you to check where your life is out of balance, right? Is it your personal relationships? Is it your career? Is it how you care for yourself, right? Are you overextending yourself? Are you neglecting your needs, right? This full moon, because it is in Libra, is really going to talk about how you gain that equilibrium in all aspects of your life, right? If you're looking for magical practices to do, there's a couple different things. Of course, you can do all kinds of stuff, but here's a couple things. Mindfulness, right? Any type of mindfulness. Full moons can be pretty intense, but Libra kind of wants you to kind of check in with your emotions, right? Make sure you're not bottling things up. Libra talks about releasing them. It's a good time to do deep breath work or journaling. You can ask yourself, where do I need to balance my life? How can I restore harmony in my life? Things like that. Make sure I would say on this day, set aside some time to really reflect on how you relate to others. Are you holding space for your own emotional needs? That's a huge important thing, guys. Oh, my hair is a hot mess. Just take a step and really reevaluate the dynamics in your life, right? Are you giving too much without receiving? Or is it vice versa, right? This can help you bring clarity and restore harmony. Another thing you could do, it's a great time for performing releasing rituals. You know me, if you've listened to any of these, I'm a big proponent of the whole write it down, light it up, let it burn kind of thing. So lighting a candle, write down what doesn't serve you, whether that's whatever you think it is, burn the paper, and the smoke releases that out, right? You could also, if you want to do a meditation, grab yourself a rose quartz or an amethyst. These are all kind of stones that are meant for calming and balancing, and it can help you align your heart chakra and balance your emotions a little bit. So just meditate with it. This will help you clear your emotional blockages and things like that, right? For magical, Libra's Venusian influence really makes it an excellent time for spells related to love, partnership, beauty. You can work with all the element of air for communication, because remember, Libra is an air sign. Using incense to clear the energy in your space, invite peaceful vibrations, all these things. Really taking the time to use this ability to harmonize your surroundings, declutter your mind, focus on really creating loving and supportive relationships. These are all kind of things that I would suggest to do. Mental health wise, let's talk, because I wanted to start adding this in because I do think it is important, and it is an important part of spiritualism and wellness. Full moon in Libra can bring clarity around your relationships. It's a great time for introspection on boundaries and whether you're getting the balance of receiving and giving love. I want to say, like, really trust your intuition. Use this time to kind of recalibrate your emotional compass. Libra, look, Libra's about helping you spot where you've been overextending yourself, right? Where you've been neglecting your own needs. If you can store balance within, you'll find that you have a much more peaceful life, have much more emotional clarity. This is a great moon to release some of that emotional baggage and really, as I said at the beginning, kind of let go of what doesn't suit you anymore and serve you, and that's okay. That's going to free up space for stuff that is going to be in alignment with you to come on in. And that's the full moon in Libra, guys. It's going to be pretty interesting. I think, let me look real quick, because I don't know why it's not in my notes. I hate my life. My notes are not working. Yes, that's what I remember now. All right, there's my notes. Found them. The full moon is also known as the pink moon. So that's, pink is very much a love, but a sweet love kind of color. So check it out. All right, so let's move to the next moon that we're going to talk about is the new moon in Taurus. It's going to be on April 27th. Now, new moons, and I'm going to do a more in-depth thing on the new moons, eclipses, all that kind of stuff eventually. So the new moon is kind of all about new beginnings, right? Planting seeds of intention, setting those intentions, really getting down there, really setting yourself for what you want to happen in the next lunar cycle, right? It is in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So therefore, you're going to want to focus on the physical realm, stability, and beauty in all its forms, right? You want to work with grounding energy. So the Taurus's symbol is the bull. Bulls are strong, they're stable, they're grounded, right? It is an earth element, and so it does deal with things that are tangible, real, reliable. Now, I will say, of the earth elements, Taurus is probably the one that has the most, I don't want to say emotion, because all earth signs have emotion, but I think that Taurus is the most outwardly emotional, right? Because they are ruled by Venus. Now, if we're looking at magical terms, Taurus is kind of about abundance, security, comfort, and that mixed with this new moon asks you to really connect to physical senses. What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel secure? How do you nourish yourself, right? So if we look at these things and we look at a mindfulness way when we're looking at the new moon, it's a great time to slow down. Take a deep breath, center yourself, get yourself grounded. It's really about taking that moment, and appreciating the simpler things in life. Now, Tauruses do like to really, they're very homey, and you're gonna be, you want to make sure you stay in the present. So it's a great day to go ground yourself. Go out, walk barefoot on the earth. The weather's changing. It's starting to be good. You can garden, maybe like a self-care ritual, like maybe go to a hot bath. We have here where I live, we have like sulfur baths. So maybe on this day, I go to the sulfur bath, right? And that's really allowing myself to get in there, right? Making sure I use essential oils. Anything that nourishes your body and spirit, great. You're also going to want to check in with your physical environment too. What in your physical environment is supporting your well-being, right? Are there areas of your life that really need to be more grounded? Is your living space filled with energy of abundance and comfort? It could be a great day to do a little spring cleaning, right? Get out all that stuff. Really make your space. Maybe move things around. If you're into feng shui, get into feng shui. If you do a ritual to cleanse all the energies out, sweep it out. Do whatever you need to do. It's a great day to do that. Spiritually wise, Taurus is really talk about going into our physical bodies. Now, when I say physical bodies, a lot of people are going to think, oh, I need to go work out. No. Yes, if you want to, that's always a good thing. Movement is good. But when I'm saying it's connected to your physical body, it's time to really listen to your physical body. So it could be a good time to start new routines for your overall well-being. Look at what you're eating, take a look at your physical health, your self-care. Maybe take a moment and meditate with stones. Jade or green aventurine are really good to really bring in abundance and health into your life. You could try a manifestation ritual. Write down your intentions, facility, whatever you want. Bury the paper in or outside, and just let it become part of the soil. And that means the Earth's energy is going to hold these intentions and nurture them, okay? Magically, I would say Taurus is excellent for spells that are related to prosperity, abundance, physical health. You can charge a green candle with your intentions for wealth or health or work with the earth element, and make offerings to nature, like planting seeds, making whatever you can, and whatever you can do to connect with Taurus's energy and allow that prosperity to be seeded and nurtured. Because this is mostly about physical, we're going to talk about physical health instead of mental, although I do think they are combined. In this case, what I would say is it's all about grounding, right, and nurturing. This is what I've said about this combination. So during the new moon, maybe look at changing your diet up. Maybe really paying attention to eating whole foods. Really paying attention to getting the nutrients and the things you need. Really taking a deep dive. I could talk for hours about diet because there's so much out there, right? There's so much out there about it, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and which one is right. It gets confusing. In the end, it's what gives your body what it needs. What works for me is not going to work for you. So look at a couple different diets. Maybe it's something simple as, hey, I'm not going to drink any more soda. That's a great thing, right? Look for ways to improve your sleep. Maybe start a new exercise routine. I just started doing like boxing and kickboxing, and then I mix it up with yoga, and then I mix it up with also like a dance thing, because that's what makes me happy. Maybe that's not works for you, but maybe looking at your exercise routine, really take a look at your physical needs. And I want to repeat that it's not just about the workout, right? Physical needs incorporate, are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping enough? Are you getting good sleep? Are you eating right? Are you, yes, movement is important, but it is not the only physical aspect. Really look at taking time to focus on your physical needs and taking some self-care that really supports long-term stability, right? It also encourages you to indulge in pleasures. So don't forget to give yourself some time for fun, right? Tauruses are very fun. They like pleasure. Because they're ruled by Venus. Pleasure is key to them, right? These are just some ideas. Now, how to use these moons for your own good? Here's the thing, guys. These are suggestions. I hope you take them. I hope one of them will work for you. I've broken it down into mental, spiritual, and physical because I kind of want to give you guys the full breadth of things, right? So let's look. So for mental health, I would say using the full moon in Libra to clear emotional clutter, balance in your relationships. A good time to release old patterns, right? People pleasing, unhealthy attachments, they all have to go. The new moon is good for setting long-term intentions that kind of talk about stability and security in your mental space. That could be through therapy, journaling, whatever, calm daily routines. If you can use both of those, you can really address both the need to release and the desire to build, right? So the full moon release, the new moon build, right? Spiritually, I would say Libra's energy from the full moon can help you really harmonize your inner world. It's a good time for spiritual reflection and asking what you need to balance your soul. And when you go on the flip side to the new moon, Taurus being an earth sign, really kind of wants you to connect to the physical world and find grounding. Both moons talk about aligning your actions with your values and your desires and really trying to create a deeper connection between your spirit and your reality. So I would say use the full moon to release emotional burdens and the new moon to set intentions for spiritual stability and growth, right? Physically, we're going to start with the Taurus, right? The Taurus focuses on the body, and so it's a good time to check in with your physical health. Start small. Don't just take a deal, perhaps new wellness practice or a commitment to nourishing your body in healthy food. And by the way, I don't usually do this, but if this is something that you are looking into, I am a holistic dietitian. So if you are interested, you could reach out to me and we could talk about setting up a consultation and that kind of stuff. It is something I'm super passionate about. So if we look at the full moon Libra, it really is a great place to identify areas that you need to create balance in your physical world. So rest, exercise, taking more time for yourself, whatever that is. I think by embracing both the earth energy of Taurus and the Libra full moon energy, you could really create a solid commitment to your self-care and your physical well-being. Both of these moons provide a lot of opportunities, guys, for you to look at ways to transform your emotional and spiritual world. But as well as really balancing that with your physical health and everything, right? So I would say just make sure you grab on. And remember, guys, if you want any more information about this kind of stuff, I definitely am open to it. Like I said, I'm an astrologer too, so if all that kind of stuff, if you need help with your spiritual or just wellness, I'm here. You can reach out to me and we can talk about setting up something. All right. That is it for the moons. I hope you guys got a lot of good information. I hope I helped you guys. So no matter if you're focused on mental health, physical well-being, whatever it is, the moons are really there to help us. And if we can use the energies to guide them and we use them properly, it's going to be kind of like a slingshot, right? You're going to pull it back at the full moon and release, and you're going to grow, right? I think that's a weird analogy and it just came to mind, and I don't know. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. As always, guys, if you want to reach out to me, there's ways to that. Reach out to me on my social media. Send me a message here if you're watching on video. If you're on Spotify, reach out, like I said, via my social media. If you want more information on this and so much more, check out my Medium publication. If you want to support the podcast, there's ways to that financially from Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon. If you don't have the cash to spark it across to me, that's no worries. If you would just like, comment, review, share, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, that would be amazing. And if you're into women and history and feminism, go check out my other podcast. It's called Where All the Ladies At. And as always, guys, love you bunches. Stay safe, stay curious, stay blessed.